I'm predicting that this one will be a long one. So, Suspiria. Oh boy. When there is old movies that receive a modern remake, I tend to watch the originals first, which is something that happened with Old Boy. So recently I finally watched all the Old Boy movies, so the Korean one and the American remake. And when I did that, I decided to watch first the Korean movie and then the American one. And I got to the results that I enjoyed the original more. There was another movie, I can't remember right now which one was, but there was this other movie I watched after Old Boy, which also had a American remake. So again, I watched the original first, and then I watched the remake, and I got to the same conclusion that I preferred the original over the remake. But now I had this doubt in my head because I didn't knew if I liked the original more because I watched them first, or if I enjoyed the originals more because they are indeed better than the remakes. So it got to the time that I decided to finally watch Suspiria, and I decided to do the opposite. So I would first watch the remake and then I would watch the original one. So in that way I could try to identify if I enjoyed the originals more because they are better or because only because I watched them first. And for the surprise of almost no one, I believe, I got to the conclusion that the original movies were better because I watched the remake first and then the original one, and the original is still far superior. Even though all the surprises I could have gotten from the movie I already got from on the remake. So there, in the movie there is this witch coven, um, which is a big revelation on the movie, mostly on the original. On the remake, they don't keep that secret for too long. So I watched the remake, I discovered about the Coven, and then I watched the original one, and well, I already knew about the Coven, so there was no surprises on the movie. So even though there was no surprise, I still prefer the original one. And there is some reasons to that I could identify. The first one and the most obvious? Yeah, I believe that's right. The most obvious one was Suspiria. The remake is one of those boring horror movies like Hereditary, and there was another one that I watched, Midsummer. Those movies are really boring, and it's kind of hard to believe that the remake came after the original, because the original one takes more risks, it's more aggressive, and that's something that we don't tend to see. So let's say on the Saw franchise, the as the movies go, they get more and more violent and more gory. So on Suspiria, it happened the opposite. So the original is more violent than the remake, and that is something that I'll put the blame on. I'll put the blame on Hereditary and Midsommar for. There was also The Witch, which is also another one of those boring horror movies. So yeah, I'll put the blame on those three for establishing this horror movies genre. And Suspiria just follows all the checklist these movies made. And it was kind of a surprise when I finally watched the original and saw all the murdering scenes. So, besides that, there was also another thing that right at the beginning of the movie, I already knew I wouldn't like that, which is Suspiria takes place in a dancing academy, which is which was made to hide this witch cover. So the problem with that is that there is no dancing in the entire movie, and the dancing scenes are all chopped off. So I believe like on the first 10 minutes of the movie, the protagonist goes to this dancing academy and she has an auction with the professors. And in this auction, she was supposed to just give a dancing performance without any music. And the scene is just really chopped off. So there is changes in the camera angles like every 3 seconds. And they had the scene set it up to be really good, because you had the main protagonist excited to be in this academy and also scared because she could be rejected. So you had all these emotions on the protagonist, and you had the professors like serious, just trying to analyze the performance without expressing any emotion. They are just like trying to understand the technique. And so there was all these emotions in the room, and there was also no music. So the only thing we could hear in that scene was the movements, the dancing movements of the protagonist, which could make this scene more emotional and more like grounded. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but I don't think I can explain this in a better way. Like, we had all these emotions, we had no music. The only sound we could hear was of the dancing movements, so we had this suspense aura in the room because also the protagonist could be rejected. So there was a lot of stuff going on in that particular moment, but the director couldn't keep the camera focused on only one thing. He just kept changing the angles over and over. So now we are showing the protagonists, and now we are showing the professors, and now we are showing the protagonist feet, and now we cut to a completely different room where there is this other professor which can hear the performance, and then we cut again to the protagonist, and we cut again to the professor that was in another room entering this room. So this scene is a completely mess, and it happened like in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, and right there was the moment I understood that there was really low chances that I would enjoy this movie. So the movie keeps going, and this same problem keeps happening. So there was just a few more dancing scenes in this movie, and all of them are really chopped off. There is one that was kinda good. I believe it's the immediate next one, which is one of the dancers just decided to quit the academy, but she is really good on what she does, and the witches just can't let her go. So they managed to lock this dancer in a room, and they sucked her powers and put it on the movie protagonist. And this happens through a dancing scene. Like, there is the in one room is this amazing dancer losing her skills, and in the other room there is the protagonist absorbing the skills of that other dancer, and the protagonist is dancing in this moment while she's absorbing the other girl skills, and in the other room the other dancing is also dancing, but just a little bit violently to the point that she almost dies. Like, she uh, broke her limbs and like her colon, and like that scene was a good use of the uh, camera angle cuts. Like, we show our protagonist in one room, next second we show this other dancing having her skills taken out of her and her body decaying. So in that scene they managed to do it well, but I believe there was only two more dancing scenes, and they are all chopped off. So they could just place a static camera um, fixed on the ground, just showing the performance from one single angle, and that would have been amazing. Like, I don't know, La La Land does that. They had um, cuts, but they are um, hidden from us, and it's not that obvious um, to identify them. So there was that. Also, oh god, why they placed the same actress to do three different roles? So um, Tilda, I believe that's how her name is pronounced. Um, she does the role of one of the professors, one of the witches, and she also does the role of one other witch that is decaying, that is almost dying and in need of a new body. So she does those two roles, and she also does a role of a psychology. Um, what's it called? A damn, I really forgot that word. Well, she does the role of the psychologist. That was not the word I was trying to find, but it will do. And when she's acting like this professor and this other decaying witch, it's it's really good. I can't complain about that because she is a great actress. But when she's doing the role of this psychologist or psychiatric, uh, we can see some really bad stuff because this psychologist is a man and the voice just does not work very well because um, they didn't try to change the actress voice. It's just her trying to do an old man voice, and that really shows in a lot of moments. And when she's not doing this terrible old man voice, she's just quiet. Like there is this moment in the beginning of the movie, right at the beginning, where there is one of his patients um, talking to him about her concerns because she is one of the dancers that could escape from this academy. So she goes to this psychologist and she's externalizing her concerns because she still has friends in the academy. And the psychologist just stay quiet for most part of this section, just taking notes and looking at the patient with concerned eyes, but he just doesn't do, he just does not talk, and that also shows in a lot of moments, like like something fake, or you know, it's it's a woman trying to do a role of a man and not working very well. So that also kinda pushed me away from this movie, like broke my immersion on it. So those are like my main concerns with this movie. And then after I watched it, I went to the original one, and oh god, it's so much better. There is a lot of use of colors. There is more interesting characters, and we see the characters because in the remake they show like this whole academy full of girls, but we don't learn the name of any of them. There is a lot of scenes that we have this bunch of girls together. There is like a voting scene that also was really poorly made because they are voting for which professor they want to have in charge of the academy for the next period, and it's just really confused because the camera just moves around this room while we hear a lot of voices saying the names of the professors they are voting for, but we don't actually see who is voting for who. And also, if we ever saw that, the movie don't focus on the girls, so it's just something that was thrown on the movie, which does not happen on the original one. On the original, there is the same problem of having a lot of girls in this academy, but they are able to focus more on other ones. Like there is the on both movies there is one girl that tries to escape, and then she gets captured by the witches, and her skills are sucked out and transferred to another person. On the remake, we just see this girl having a mental breakdown and running from the academy. And then there is immediately after there is this scene where she gets her powers, her skills sucked out. On the original one, we see this girl running away from the academy, and then we follow her. We follow her until she goes to a house of one friend of her, and she stays in there for a couple minutes, and then we see her getting attacked by something. We can't quite see what it is. Like it seems to be a kind of a demon of something like that, which made me think of the Psycho movie, where this woman she stole money from her boss, and she tries to run away. She goes to the Bates motor, and she gets killed. And then the movie really starts. So that scene of the original Suspiria made me think of the Psycho movie, because we are seeing this girl. She managed to run from the academy, and she got to a safe place, and maybe she will be able to get away from this COVID. Maybe she will be able to get away from the country and go back to where she is from. But then we get surprised by this demon-like figure killing her. And also this scene is more graphical than the one in the remake. Because in the remake, this girl just gets like her she's moving around, and she is moving so violently, dancing so violently, that she starts breaking her limbs. While in the original one, this demon breaks through a window and starts to stab this girl that ran away from the academy. So it's a lot more graphical, and in one moment, um, this demon throws the girl into a glass ceiling from where she falls down. That may be a little too much, but so he stabs her, he throws her in this glass ceiling where she falls down, and while she's falling, her neck, um, there is this cable that goes around her neck and hangs there. So it's a lot more graphical, and also the friend of this girl also dies because when the ceiling shatters, I believe that's the word, when the ceiling shatters, the glass breaks, some of the glass pieces hit this other woman, and she also dies in that place. So it's a lot more graphical. There is a dog scene that is just amazing because in the original one there is this blind guy that plays the piano, and he has a dog to guide him, but this dog ends up attacking one of the employees of the academy, and then the witches um, throws this guy away from the academy. They fire him, and then he goes out of the academy. He goes to a bar, drinks a little bit, and when he gets out of this bar, his dog um, leads him to this open area, which is a very beautiful scene. It's just this blind guy and his dog in the middle of a plaza at night, and then the dog starts barking to something. We don't see what it is, but then we just see from the perspective of something flying over this blind guy, and this thing just goes in the direction of this blind guy. It throws him in the ground, and then the dog starts attacking the owner. After that, some officers goes try to rescue him, but he is already dead. And then we go back to the academy to keep following the story of this protagonist that just got accepted on the academy. So before talking about the ending of both movies, there is another thing I would like to mention, which is the colors. On the remake, it's everything really grayed out. There is not much use of colors. There is nothing that will stand out. But in the original one, there is this mystical aura surrounding the academy. So when our protagonist first gets to the academy, it's a rainy night, and she is in a cab. And when the cab is approaching the academy, we just see this massive red wall, just from top to bottom, It's just a bright red color, which gives this kind of mystical aspect to the academy. Also, there is some other places. There is one place, not one place, like one moment, um, more towards the ending of the movie, where our protagonist is going to finally uncover the mysteries, and then they play with the lights of the room. So there is this moment where the screen gets a green light, and then it's just the entire room is just all green. But when one of the characters open a door, the lighting completely changes, which does not happen in the remake in any shape or form. It's just the standard um, dark lighting. There is nothing like kind of artistical in the remake. So then there is the ending of the movies. I think it's better to start by the remake. So in the remake, our protagonist finds out about the coven, and she finds all of the girls doing this ritual, this ritual which would give the body of our protagonist to this witch that is decaying. This one witch from the coven that is almost dying and in need of a new body. So they are doing this ritual, and then there is the kind of a big review, um, because this decaying witch, she was telling every other witch that she was this powerful witch that is in this movie, because there is this powerful witch that is missing, and this one that is decaying, she tries to convince the rest of the persons in the academy that she is this missing witch, and because of that she needs the body of this um, newcomer to the academy. And then there is the movie's big review, which tells that this decaying witch is not the one that is missing. The one that is missing just appears in this ritual room, and she starts killing every single one that believed in this decaying witch. And then there is a callback to the voting scene. So the witch that was missing, she starts to kill everyone that voted for this decaying witch to be in the control of the academy. And that was a really big problem for me, because the first time we see this voting scene, they just don't treat that as something important. It's just the camera moving around the room, and we hear people voting for one witch or the other. But we can't see who voted for who. And then in the ending of the movie, this becomes something important, because this witch that was missing starts to kill everyone that voted for the impersonator, the king witch that said she was the missing one. and it's just a completely mess because this the this witch, this powerful witch that was missing, just appears to be killing um, whenever, not whenever. It appears that she's killing people at random because when there was this voting scene, we couldn't see the ones that voted for the decaying witch or the ones that voted for the other one. And that does not happen in the original one. There is no voting in the original one. There is no kind of political um, war between witches. It's just in the original one, there is the Coven, there is the Decay Witch, and we need a body for her. There is no one trying to. I forgot the word again. There is no one trying to pass as someone else. There is no political war between the witches. It's just, alright, we have this coven, we have that witch that is almost dying, and we need a body for her. It's just that. And our protagonist finds out. She goes in a secret room where she finds all the witches having this meeting, telling that she that telling that they need to do this ritual as soon as possible. And then on the remake, the problem is solved by the witch that was missing killing everyone. In the original one, the protagonist finds out this witch, the king witch, and she stabs her and kills her. And then she runs away from the academy, and the academy just catches on fire. So there is a lot of difference between the remake and the original, and I don't think the changes they made were for the better, because there is no artistical scenes in the remake. The use of colors is minimal. This actress trying to pass as the male psychologist, it just does not work. We can see a lot of mistakes being made through the movie, mainly because of the voice of the actress, and the plot is kind of all over the place. They introduced a lot of characters and they focus on none of them. While in the original one, that's a lot different. There is artistical purpose. There is a have use of colors on the entire movie. The characters they introduce, they managed to how's it called? They managed to develop them, and even the ones that die in like 10 minutes, we still get attached to them. And when they die, it comes as a surprise for us. So yeah, this movie, I really regret watching the remake first. But yeah, when I first decided to do that, to watch first the remake and then the original, it made sense in my head because I really needed to test if like I really enjoyed more the originals, or if I enjoyed them more because I watched them first. Or if I didn't do with this movie, I would have to do with another one. But yeah, Suspiria gets to the list of more unnecessary movie remakes. And yeah, I don't think. Oh, there is another thing I almost forgot to mention. On the remake, when there is this one girl getting her skills sucked out to be placed on the protagonist. Um, right at the end of the scene, she starts to pee herself, and until now, I don't really know what the directors try to do with that, because the girl is already not already, it's almost dying. She has all her limbs broken, and then they just take a moment to film this character being herself, and that really broke the mood of the scene. Because I know it's bad, but I couldn't contain myself, and I just started laughing about it. And I don't consider myself to be a person that easily laugh on poop and fart jokes, but this one was so I don't know, it was something I was not expecting, and they just placed that in the movie, just breaking the mood completely. But yeah, that's Suspiria, the original, and the remake.